us on this Friday night. I'm Whit Johnson in for David. We begin with that breaking news. Desperate rescue efforts happening right now across Southeast Asia after that massive 7.7 magnitude earthquake. The epicenter in the war-torn country of Myanmar, but the impact reaching as far away as southern China. This is the moment a 34-story building under construction came crashing down in Bangkok. Workers running for their lives. Clouds of dust and debris filling the air. More than 100 workers believed trapped inside. Rooftop pools spilling out waves of water hundreds of feet down. Buildings toppling over, many that didn't collapse, leaning precariously. In southern China, debris raining down onto a city street. The desperate rescue efforts now around the clock, this moment showing crews saving a young boy from the rubble. The extent of the devastation is yet to be fully revealed, but the death toll is expected to surge. ABC's Britt Clennett leads us off from the scene in Bangkok.
This is the moment that catastrophic earthquake rocked Southeast Asia, toppling buildings, sending panicked crowds fleeing, and causing widespread death and destruction. This bridge falling into a muddy river. Myanmar taking a direct hit. More than 150 people killed across the region, hundreds more injured. In Bangkok, Thailand, that entire 34-story skyscraper still under construction crashes down to the ground as workers flee for their lives. Clouds of dust and debris filling the air. Jack Brown on a nearby highway watching as the building fell.
It was just horrifying to see that destruction.
Desperate search for survivors tonight, rescuers carrying out the injured. Digging through the rubble. Shouting to anyone who might be trapped. More than 100 people still missing here tonight.
This is a massive search operation. Crews here are working all through the night, searching for any signs of life in that giant piece of rubble.
The epicenter more than 600 miles from Bangkok in central Myanmar, a nation torn by years of civil war, now devastated by a monster 7.7 magnitude quake. Buildings left leaning on their foundations. Rescuers cheering the incredible moment a child is pulled from a flattened building alive. Historic temples destroyed. This man narrowly escaping death.
I was praying the Buddha in monastery, and suddenly the ground was started shaking. We were so shocked at the time. The monastery suddenly fell down.
More than 450 miles from the epicenter of that quake, people in Yunnan province, China, also feeling the tremors. Horrific videos showing the moment falling debris rained down on people below this 31-story building. Back here in Bangkok, the violent shaking sending water spilling out of rooftop pools, cascading down high-rises. American expat Deborah Punachet has been living in Thailand for 28 years.
I was in my lazy boy and all of a sudden it moved back and forth and then it toppled over.
Authorities now warning millions to be alert, the region already hit by a powerful 6.4 magnitude aftershock.
Yeah, those aftershocks a major concern. Britt Clennett live on the scene of that deadly building collapse in Bangkok. And Britt, the true scope and toll from this massive quake still unclear tonight.
That's right, Whit. You can see this massive pile of debris behind me. There's still very much an active search going on. And we don't know the true extent of the destruction of this quake across the region. And tonight, the U.S. is vowing to help with.
Desperate rescue efforts there. Britt Clennett for us tonight. Thank you. Meantime, back here at home, the flood emergency in Texas has turned deadly. At least 3 people have died. Parts of the state receiving more than a foot of rain, flooding roads, submerging cars. First responders performing hundreds of water rescues. Meantime, to the east, the Carolina wildfires exploding in size as hundreds of firefighters race to get the upper hand. ABC's Faith Abube in Saluda, North Carolina, again tonight.
Tonight, more danger for the Deep South after a flash flood emergency overnight. Buckets of rain in South Texas, more than a foot of rain in spots, killing at least 3 people. First responders in boats rescuing dozens of people from their vehicles in McAllen. Vehicles bobbing in the water. In the Carolinas, new red flag warnings and dangerous conditions for firefighters on the front lines battling the Black Cove Complex fire in North Carolina. Crews intentionally set this fire just feet away from this house, burning up all the debris that a wildfire could use to destroy it. The fire is still just 17% contained. Is there a physical impact on your firefighters as they're out there working hours on end?
Fatigue. So this is my local district here. We've been fighting fire for over a month now.
In South Carolina, the Table Rock Complex fire exploding and expanding in size overnight, now nearly 17 square miles.
We got a lot of work to do. It's going to take a long time to get this contained.
Authorities say charges for those responsible for setting the Table Rock fire are coming, but the priority now is fighting the flames. And with those gusty winds are picking up again, but it's the dry conditions that have firefighters the most concerned. That's because any fires that break out can spread quickly, but there is rain in the forecast on Sunday and again on Monday, and can't come soon enough. Whit.
Yeah, a silver lining there. Faith, thank you. Let's get right to meteorologist Danny Beckstrom from our New York station WABC. And Danny, that severe weather threat on the move tonight.
Yes, tonight, Whit, East Texas into parts of Louisiana under tornado watch until 7 p.m. local time as that heavy rain that we just saw continues from Lake Charles this evening into New Orleans tomorrow. Then our attention turns to that next major storm system crossing the country, set to bring a dangerous severe weather risk to millions this weekend. The threat begins tomorrow night across portions of the plains, but Sunday brings greater concern with a severe outbreak looking more likely. Damaging wind, large hail, tornadoes, they're all possible for many major metro areas from Little Rock to Indianapolis. This weekend's threat continues east into Monday, bringing the chance for damaging wind, large hail, and lightning from the southeast up the I-95 corridor. So much of the country dealing with several days of dangerous impacts. Whit?
A difficult weekend ahead. Danny Beckstrom, it's great to have you. Thanks so much. Turning now to President Trump's tariff threats and the nosedive on Wall Street. The Dow plunging hundreds of points to close the week. Canada's Prime Minister speaking with President Trump today and how he's now promising to retaliate for the tariffs the U.S. has imposed on Canadian goods. ABC's senior political correspondent Rachel Scott at the White House.
Tonight, anxiety over inflation and President Trump's escalating trade war sending markets into free fall. The Dow plunging more than 700 points. The president began the day touting a, quote, extremely productive call with Canada's new Prime Minister, Mark Carney, saying we, quote, agree on many things. What he didn't mention was that Carney told him that Canada would soon retaliate for the tariffs Trump imposed on Canadian products.
You said if that were to happen, that you would be responding with large-scale tariffs. Will you be following through with that promise?
Well, absolutely, but we had a very good conversation. We're going to end up with a very good relationship with Canada.
But right now, that relationship is the rockiest it's been in decades.
The old relationship we had with the United States, based on deepening integration of our economies and tight security and military cooperations, is over.
Trump's steep new tariffs are set to kick in next Thursday, including 25% tariffs on all cars and auto parts made outside the United States. Economists warn American businesses pay those tariffs and then raise prices for consumers. By one estimate, the price of a new car could shoot up more than $6,000 by next year. Aman Singh, the general manager at a Toyota dealership in New York, says he's been flooded with calls from shoppers concerned prices are going to rise.
We've been telling them, hey, listen, we have cars here. If you pick something I have here, it's that price.
But President Trump telling those Americans not to worry.
Mr. President, should Americans buy cars now if they want to avoid higher prices?
No, I don't think so. I think you're going to have a country that's going to boom.
And despite the markets tumbling, the president showing no signs of backing away from those tariffs. He says they will go into effect on Thursday. 25% on all cars and auto parts made outside of the United States. The president says they will be permanent with.
As you noted, just days away. Rachel Scott, thank you. Now to the second couple making their first to the index now. Utah is the first state to ban fluoride in public drinking water. The governor signing a law that goes into effect in May. Some municipalities have recently banned fluoride over concerns from inconclusive studies that link the mineral to lower intellectual development in children. Other states are considering similar bans. Many health officials say fluoride strengthens teeth and reduces cavities and is considered safe at low levels. The tidal basin in Washington, D.C. is swimming in pink tonight. The cherry blossoms are in peak bloom. That means 70% of the trees are fully blossomed. They draw millions of visitors every year. Japan gave the trees to the U.S. in 1912 as a gift of friendship. What a sight. When we come back, America Strong, the incredible surprise for students caught on camera. Finally tonight, America Strong, a surprise for student band members and the viral celebration. The Green Central High School Concert Band in Snow Hill, North Carolina. About 40 student musicians recently performing in a statewide competition for the first time since 1987. They've never won the top honor. Afterwards, band director Andrew Howell delivering the results.
So, oh God. Like I said, this is a growing experience.
The students appearing disappointed at first, heads down, expecting the worst.
And just coming and being a part of this is a really important thing.
But Andrew had a surprise.
But we're also the first in school history to get us
A roar of cheers from the front to the back of the bus. The celebration video going viral, more than 13 million views on TikTok. Band member Haley Kinsler.
I hope a lot of people do end up seeing this, and I hope when they see this that like they can feel as emotional as we felt, and they can like feel as accomplished as we felt for us or for themselves.
And tonight, that band director hoping this moment can help shine a light on the value of music in schools.
It was just as big of a surprise to me as to the students when we did get it. But one thing I've seen on the comments a lot is that this is why music in our schools is so important. So it's really nice when they get the recognition like my students have as well.
Recognition well deserved. I'm Wade Johnson. Have a great night.